All right, good morning, everyone. Karma Collector here. Listen, I want to talk about the deception runneth deep, guys. Oh, the deception runs deep. Two things I want to talk about and cover today, all right? First of all, that faked Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt by Donald Trump, which he did for a couple of reasons, okay? And the other thing I want to talk about is the fake arrest of Bree. That was a distraction from all those awful videos that were coming out about Gypsy. Okay, remember, guys? All we talked about for days after that was Bree and her arrest and this and that. Remember? Even I did it. That's exactly what they wanted. All they know we have short memories, and they know just let a little time pass and everyone will even forget about that. They just want, this is how crazy they are, man. They just wanted a few more days to pass. People, or maybe they were hoping for the weeks, to where we forget about those videos. That was a distraction set up, guys. And yes, they go to these lengths. I know that sounds crazy, man, but she drank of the cup of the blood of the sacrifice of her mother, and it is on film. And once they do that, it is a wrap. They are going to do whatever for her. They just send down orders to people, man. They're going to do whatever for her, unless until she refuses to go to ritual or she's just not cooperating there, and then they're done with her. Then either we won't hear anything from her, she won't be given anything else, and or they'll kill her. Okay, it's just that simple, man. All right. But yes, they do go to these lengths for her. I know it sounds ridiculous, man, but that's what that was. Now let's first talk about the president. All right. Now, this is not an I told you so video. This is not boasting, because I don't do that, all right? That is bullshit. What this is, guys, is I'm just pointing the things out to you, and that I was right about it. For those of you that are on the fence or don't believe that this is happening, that these rituals and sacrifices occur, and that's indeed what Dee Dee's demise was a torture ritual that culminated in a Judas sacrifice, so that her evil bitch daughter could have the things of this world. And look what they gave her. While they're in prison, they had her public defender, guys, Mike Stanfield, her public defender. Once the case was adjudicated, they're done. He is running around with her family building this narrative of she was the victim. Also, when she got out, she'd be just a little darling, which she was. Okay? And they were setting all that up, guys. And then she gets out, she gets handed a book deal, a television show, these documentaries. She went with two Luciferians, Jeffree Star and Kim Kardashian. Okay, she did a full media tour. She was bought, and they bought and paid for all those followers on TikTok and the other platform. You guys, man, come on. Okay, I'm just showing you that. I'm trying to point out to you that that's what this is, man. She sacrificed her mother, and it's on film. And since she did that, again, they are going to come through with their end. They always do, until you refuse to go to ritual or you fuck up otherwise, okay? And that's what's going on. All right, but again, let's talk about the president. I'm going off on tangents. All right. What happened there, guys, is they just fired shots. That boy that they had on the roof, he was a patsy. That they killed him, guys. Understand that they killed that boy just to be able to pull off this fake assassination attempt for a couple reasons, that they wanted to make it look like he was almost killed like that, guys. For a couple reasons. But understand, that boy, Thomas whatever, they put him on the roof, and they told him what was going to happen is he was just going to shoot off the gun at him, and then they were going to arrest him. They were going to put him in jail and all that. But when it's all over with, he was either going to get pardoned, or they would get him out of it, or they would just sneak him out. This is the things that they told that boy. Okay? I know how they operate, man. This is what they did. And they trained him. Guys, he was being trained with the FBI. We know that. And they're trying to say, oh, that was the deep state trying to get him. No, he is the deep state. Duh. What they did is they told this boy, get up there, and then we're going to arrest you, but it'll all be good. In the end, you'll be free, or we'll put you in a witness protection program and just sneak you out. But what they did is they shot and killed him. So it made it look like, oh, the assassination attempt, and then we took him out. Because guess what? Because he can't possibly run his mouth. What if he got in jail and told him, oh no, it was a fake thing. They told me to get up there and just shoot the gun off. I want you to understand that our president and our government killed that innocent kid that they tricked and paid to do all this stuff and told him it would be okay. They tricked him and they killed him just so they could do this. Donald Trump was told at the right exact time was going to happen when he mentioned what he was talking about, that they were going to shoot off, but not to hit him. And what he did is nothing. He had a theatrical blood pack in his hand. He did it on his ear and he went down. Then he gets up. Do you guys really think that pussy, he's been a pussy his whole life. He was picked on in military school and probably sodomized by the older boys. And I hate to say that, but that's how it usually goes, especially weaklings like him. I know he likes to come off as tough guy. He's so tough. He's never been in a fist fight in his life. And I'd kick the shit out of that dude. And I'd beat the holy hell out of him if we went out back somewhere. Okay? And he just talks tough. And he knows he's got the military. And he's always had bodyguards. He just talks big and tough. Right? So there's no way in hell, if he was really shot, that pussy would have stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Do you know how ridiculous that is? And then they managed to get the most iconic photo, if it were real, of the 21st century thus far. Him standing there with the flag perfectly raised. And, oh my God, and the Secret Service people, with the looks on their face. And, oh, guys, those were actors. You can trace who they were. None of those two people that are in the picture are not even in the Secret Service. They're actors. All right? And this is the main reason I know it was fake too. Guys, out of 96, it was either 96 or 94, rallies that he did in 2024 leading up to the election, out of all of them, the only single one that was streamed live by CNN was in Lake Butler on the 15th of July. Now, or not Lake Butler, Butler, Pennsylvania, I'm sorry. Why? What prompted CNN to, out of all of them, I'm not saying they haven't filmed other rallies and then played them later. They filmed them. This is the only one they streamed live out of all of 96 of them. Come on, guys. And remember his first term, CNN was his biggest enemy. Fake news. That was the first one he called fake news, was CNN. Remember that? And we all made jokes and memes of how awful CNN is, right? Well, CNN's supposed to be his arch enemy. How come they set up the one-time live? That's the only one. You guys can look this up. You can't just Google it. Okay, you have to make some phone calls and stuff, or but you can't just Google it. How come? And that means, guys, that the CNN is working in tandem with him. They're working together because they went and live streamed that. I need you to understand that they're not enemies. They're all working together. The mainstream media is the devil's pulpit. Okay? All right. So, and before, the last time I made videos, guys, I made videos after this occurred and told you it was fake for these reasons. I told you that was a theatrical blood pack, and I also told you that it was the only one that was streamed live by CNN. But I got comments in the comment section. I got people that don't have critical thinking skills, or they don't fucking listen to what I'm saying, or they're listening and they have no comprehension skills. I said it's the only one that CNN streamed live, and it is. They came in the comment, that ain't right, karma collectors. I done saw it on Fox. I done seen it on MSNBC and Newsmax and News Nation. I seen plenty of his rallies streamed live. That's not the only one that was streamed live. That's what they did over and over. Almost like it was bots doing it. I said, listen, it's the only one that CNN streamed live. And there's a reason for that. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up now, again, I told you so, is that I'm the one that said it right after it happened. Look now. Look on YouTube at all these different people that are all of a sudden now coming out and saying that assassination attempt was faked. There's a whole bunch of them. The Young Turks, a whole bunch of people are saying that now. That Butler assassination attempt was fake. Guys, a lot of people are saying it. And if they're all saying it, there's a reason for that. There's a reason they want us to know that was fake now, or they wouldn't allow them all to do it. And they're all doing it now. Just look on YouTube. Type it in the search bar and you'll see. There's a whole bunch of them doing it. And there's a reason for that. Okay? And there's reasons why they did that fake assassination attempt. And one of them is biblical, but I'm not going to get into that in this video because that's not what this is about. So I've talked about all the deception with that. All right. Now let's talk about this deception with Bree. Okay. That was a fake arrest and a distraction. So we would talk about her and not the videos. This paperwork now is all just bullshit, guys. Listen, man, this is how this went. They actually arrested her, but it wasn't like an arrest. They were all together just saying, come on, we got to ride down to the station. We're going to take your picture and have to book you in. Da-da-da-da-da. Right? It was all, they all did that together, man. And it was just fake and it was friendly and everything, guys. It was all planned. She wasn't really pulled over and all that. Guys, they set it up like her tag was bad and the light was out. That's not true. She's got plenty of money, man. She would have never done that with drugs in the car. Never! Especially if she was getting them to bring them to them. It's all fake, guys. You guys, the number one way people get pulled over, the number one way people get drug charged in their car is because they're stupid and they have a tag expired or a light out. Something benign like that, and they get pulled over for that. And then they do something stupid to give the cops probable cause to search. That's why they did that, because how else would they have a reason? Well, why did you get pulled over? Well, why did they find meth on her? What happened? So what do? They use the most common thing that happens, guys. This was not a real arrest ring. They just took her down to jail, booked her in, they did this. And then she goes to court, guys, and you want me to believe she has a prior in 2017 of having meth possession. You want me to believe that Jeray Jarreau comes in there, who is a family law attorney, not a criminal justice attorney, and she's a Luciferian, I've told you, who gets children removed from their home and passes them on to wealthy elites for defilement rituals, and she gets paid handsomely for it. Why is this bitch in criminal court now? She's the same Jeray Jarreau, Luciferian, that with Mike Stanfield, I've told you this from the jump, before any of this happened, last April, that those two met Gypsy and Ken before December 28th at a rent-a-studio in Mississippi, in southwestern Mississippi, and they met there and they brought her a baby. And they put all those, remember they had her in the hospital bed with, it looks like an IV, but it was just taped to her, wasn't even in her. And they had every fucking bracelet, every alert bracelet you can fucking have in a hospital. Do you guys remember that? They really did it up. And then she was holding that baby. They brought that baby to them to do that and do that Lifetime little scene where she had the baby like she just delivered it, and to take that picture for People magazine, man. It's the same thing. And they did that. God knows where they got that fucking baby from, but they only used the baby for that. I don't know where it went back to or whose it was, you guys. And this is the same Jeray Jarreau that was her divorce attorney. And now she's walking in and she's Bree's defense attorney? It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying that a family law attorney can't defend someone, because they can. It's not, if you got a law license, you got a law license, okay? And if you're able to practice in that state, you're able to practice. I'm not saying that she can't do that, but they don't do that. She's a family law attorney. They don't jump over and do that. But of course, she's a Luciferian. And she is helping another Luciferian handler. They only send them Luciferian attorneys. That's why Mike Stanfield signed on as this bitch's attorney of record right away, when she wasn't even back in Missouri yet. Okay, now let's talk about this silliness. You guys, in the criminal justice system, okay, first of all, the criminal justice system is set up as an adversarial system, okay? The judge is just the referee, okay? It is the state, if it's a felony, it is the state versus the person, period. When you commit a crime, even if you commit a rape or robbery or something against someone, it's not that person against them or anything like that. You have committed a crime against the community or the state, all right? If it is a misdemeanor, it is handled in either county or the parish courtroom, however they do it, Okay, and that's different. That is just you did a it's a misdemeanor. You made a little mistake. You did a mishap. Okay, a little mistake. They can handle that, however. But a felony is a state crime. Okay, and the prosecutor must be involved. The judge can drop any charge they want. That is true. They can throw any charge out they want, but they must provide a legal reason for it in writing, and they always do. They had Bree dead to rights, and they have plenty of evidence to tie her over to trial. Okay? Her attorneys didn't even do any motions of limine to try to have the search thrown out or any statements thrown out. Of course they would have done that first. But no, they show up into court without the prosecutor, and Jeray Jarreau, a family law attorney who's a Luciferian, goes back in the judge's chambers, and they just handle it there. And all of a sudden, Bree just does three clean drug screens, and we'll just put it down to the misdemeanor. No, guys, what they're going to do is it's going to be dropped altogether because it's not a real charge. She's not really charged. Just because there's paperwork, it's all fake. These Luciferians run the world. Just because there's paperwork, they went through the motions. I told you that. Because they know there's nosy people like me and Becca Scoops and Into the Weeds and Audacious Audrey. They know people are getting the paperwork on it. So yeah, they're doing it. But this is deceptive and it's a lie. There's no way in hell it worked like this. She couldn't just go into chambers and the judge without the state say, well, just do 3 drug screens and then we'll drop. No, what they're going to do is it's not going to be there at all. And I'm going to pull the shit. Oh, I'm going to pull her whole record in 6 months. I'm going to wait. Okay? Because what it's going to be is those 2 misdemeanors that she had, whatever, the fucked up tag and the other one, those will still be there. Because no one cares about a misdemeanor. And it'll just be a fine. And they paid the fine for her. But they're not going to let a felony sit on her record. They're not going to do that to her just to distract Gypsy. Do you understand? But a misdemeanor is no big deal. Who cares? And they paid for it. So what is going to end up on her record is just those 2 original misdemeanors. And they're going to drop that all together because it's not a real charge. And they're going to say, well, she did the 3 drug screens, so we ran a misdemeanor concurrent to those 2. But you won't see a charge for it, but we're just supposed to believe it. Right? They can't do that without the prosecutor, and they wouldn't. The prosecutor would be having a complete and utter fucking heart failure. Would be freaking out. And the judge would know that the prosecutor would go to the appellate court over this if they were doing their job. But the prosecutor was paid or told to shut up or was an adjacent herself. This is what happened, guys. 3, okay, and what does it say? 3 clean drug screens and you're just, that's it? It's dropped to what? What does it say on the paperwork? Okay? What is the contingency if she doesn't pass the drug screens? Who's governing the drug screens and where's she taking it at? What happens if she doesn't? There should be a contingency written in there that, well, if she doesn't complete the 3 drug screens in X number of days or whatever, then we come back to court and start the process over. Or she automatically gets so long probation or whatever. There's a contingency behind it. Not just, you guys, that is assuming that she's just going to pass the 3 drug screens and that's it. Let's go on. So I'm going to pull all this shit in 6 months and show you. This was a fake arrest and she's not really charged with anything. That's bullshit. She is the misdemeanors. It doesn't work this way, guys. All right? I was an ADA for 12 years out west. I'm not telling you the state, guys. They want to put me in Florida for my rest of my life. They got me in Florida somehow. Guys, I left Florida after I left high school in the 80s. And I went up in Northeast to go to college. Okay? I'm not telling you where either. But, I'm in Boston here, and, there's there's like 1,000 colleges here. And then after that, guys, I went out west, and I was in ADA for 12 fucking years. And what I'm telling you is, it is the state against, or the Commonwealth versus Nicole Hines. I'm Nicole Hines. I went to school, middle school, with a girl named Nicole Hines. I had a crush on her. Brianna Hines. Brianna Hines. The state of Louisiana versus, I almost did it again, Brianna Hines. You can't cut the prosecutor out like that. They would have been having a fit, but they went along with it. So let's see what happens. And I'm going to pull a record. You're going to see there's no mention of any of it. You guys, it was a fake arrest. The whole thing was fake to distract from Gypsy. She's their queen. I need you guys to understand here, man. Bree and all of them, and Big Sheena and all of them, she is a big deal to them. They're like, oh, because she sacrificed her mother. These people are evil. She is a big deal to them. They revere her. I need you all to understand this. This is what this world's about. And when you are willing to sacrifice your mother in a Judas sacrifice and slit her throat from ear to ear, and drain her blood, and then drink of the cup of the blood of the sacrifice, then you're a big deal to them. Okay, and this was a distraction from that. That is all this was, man. All right, guys. See you in the next one. Hey guys, I just added this on for YouTube. All right. In the description below, please watch these. I put for you a video. It's just a short video telling you that this assassination attempt was fake. And you will see that I made it like 7 or 8 months ago, okay? It's my video that's still posted on my account, okay? In the description below. You will see that I said this a long time ago, all right? And also in the description below, please, if you will watch these other videos of several prominent YouTubers, all right, that are currently now calling out that Trump's assassination attempt was fake. And they're doing it all at one time, which is odd to me. And there's a reason for this, guys, okay? Something this important, this crazy, that he faked an assassination attempt, you know, and they killed some boy for no reason. You would think they'd want to keep under wraps and hidden and shut people up that are saying it. Oh, no, it's all over the place. There is a reason for that, guys, all right? So I just want you to see that. Please use those in the description below. All right, guys, I love you. See you in the next one.